Let us all now have a moment of silence, not for Black Noir, but for the moment Mother's Milk got hit with Father's Milk. The Boys Season 3 has now wrapped on Amazon Prime, officially making itself one of the best comic book TV shows ever created. So what I'm going to be doing here for you guys is giving you my spoiler review on The Boys Season 3, telling you some of the moments that blew my mind, disgusted me out, really getting down to why I think this is one of the best comic book shows we've ever gotten. But I'm also going to want to hear from you guys out there, the boys. Oi, what did you think of Season 3? What was your favorite episode? What was your least favorite moment? Is there anything you would have changed? Speculation for next season? Love to hear it all down below. And since we're speaking about the boys, if you're someone who wants to try some Temp V, G Fuel's got you covered because they have a collaboration flavor coming out titled Temp V, where unfortunately it's not going to give you the superpowers you wanted, but it will definitely provide you with some energy, endurance, and focus throughout the day. If you click the link in my description and use code 3C Films when checking out, you're going to get a discounted price. By supporting G Fuel, you'll be supporting my channel, and that means the world. Plus, you're also getting some The Boys merch. Come on now. Thank you again, G Fuel, for sponsoring today's video. All right, so just jumping straight into it with Season 3 of The Boys, I mean it when I say this really is one of the best comic book shows we have gotten. And you know how I can really tell and notice this is because all the Disney Plus shows that we have gotten from WandaVision up until now with Ms. Marvel have all been released since the time Season 2 and Season 3 came out. And don't get me wrong, I'm someone who's liking the Disney Plus series and gets enjoyment out of them, but it's crazy to think we went through about 6 to 7 shows that Disney and Marvel pumped out, and then we jump right back into the world of The Boys, and they show us how to do some storytelling, man. Because while The Boys might not have the budget that Disney has with their Marvel Plus shows, they put everything they have into the story and the characters they put on screen, where every episode is just meant on building the world, developing the characters, and giving them a satisfying arc and conclusion for that season, while still being able to tease another one. So with the way Season 3 opened up here, I made the grave mistake of being all excited and pumped for the new season of The Boys. I ordered myself some wings and fries and had me a drink, and I was like, all right, baby, let's watch The Boys. Then you got little people shooting up guys' pee holes. What the heck, man? Learn my lesson. Don't eat food when you're watching The Boys. You might not be able to hold it down. And I know there's not a lot of people who enjoy that gore, grotesque stuff that The Boys brings, but I just really like seeing a realistic take on what these superpowers can do to the human body and how anybody can just turn to jello with some of these powers used on them. But it's also not even the main draw of The Boys. Season 3 really proved you can have these gross out, disgusting moments, but at the end of the day, it's just a bonus that you get with an already compelling story. Because let's talk about the transition of Homelander this season, because that is what really had me on the edge of my seat. From day one of The Boys, they've done a great job of making you afraid of Homelander. Whenever he steps into the room, you just automatically clench your butt cheeks for the characters because you're like, any second, Homelander could lose it and someone can die. And that's what makes him a terrifying villain, but at least he was restraining himself because he wants the public to love him. He's a public figure, essentially the Superman of this world. But then he loses Stormfront. People start to turn on him. He can't seem to hold it together when running a company like Gus can. It was so brilliant and scary seeing him just start being more of himself and not hiding who he really is, and also using his powers to his advantage, forcing Starlight to have a relationship with him, killing her best friend off. That was so messed up, and we didn't even get to see that fight go down. That's another thing I really liked about The Boys this season. There were so many times where you feel like they could do the cliche, stereotypical TV show thing of like have a three-way love triangle between Starlight, Huey, and this old ex-boyfriend of Starlight. Like, I was so afraid that's what this season was going to be, is just this three-way love triangle. Maybe Huey and Starlight would break up for a little bit. She'd go back to the ex, and then by the end they go like, oh, we've seen it done hundreds of times on other shows. So when they just killed him off, I was not expecting it, and I was blown away. And that happens a lot throughout The Boys. They set something up that you think is clearly going one way, and they kind of subvert expectations in a good way. Getting to Jason Ackles as Soldier Boy, what a smart inclusion. This is also where I want to praise The Boys from straying away from the comic book storylines, because I'm someone who read The Boys comic books back when it was first announced that they were going to make this show, and Soldier Boy really is nothing like his comic book counterpart. Soldier Boy in the comics was more like a Captain America parody, making fun of that guy, was kind of a wimp and was just a boy toy for Homelander. Here, I love what they did in essentially making him the original superhero, America's sweetheart that is honestly just as bad, if not worse, as Homelander. While I'll say I'm not as afraid of Soldier Boy as I am of Homelander, I can see them definitely developing him to being the ultimate big bad guy of the entire show. Because I was so invested into every time they revealed his backstory and how his old team betrayed him and basically handed him off to the Russians. I think none of those backstories came as close and as heartbreaking as Black Noir's. Like, how did they make the silent, no-face, no-talking character in The Boys the one we felt most sympathy for throughout the season? Because not only was it so heartbreaking hearing the story of Black Noir and everything he wanted to be, but the way the show can play it off as a joke and still make it sentimental and dark with these kid cartoons is again just showing you the brilliance of The Boys and how they can do so much without having that gigantic budget that other shows have. Because I really wanted Black Noir to get his revenge, or at least have a little bit of a one-on-one with Soldier Boy, so to see him killed off by Homelander, oh, that was heartbreaking. I also thought they handled the inclusion of Temp V very well this season, where they made it something that they can use to get the upper hand or stand a bit of a chance against these soups, but it's also something they can't rely on and will kill them if they continue on. But it also started showing us that Butcher, man, is really not that different from becoming a villain himself, because I think every season, Butcher is getting harder and harder to sympathize with, and I don't blame the group for turning their backs on them and defying this guy's orders, because there were so many moments here I'm like, Butcher, what are you doing? These are your teammates. Still, who knows, man, because I've started to see some wild takes online after this season of The Boys. I've seen so many people come out and say that Homelander is relatable, that they feel bad for him, that they sympathize with him, and I'm like, huh? Or the people that go, we would all be like Homelander if we had his powers. Huh? And maybe that's just a credit to the writing of The Boys that some people feel that way, because like from a small, slight 1% angle, I can see where they're going with that. Because it became more apparent the root of the evil that Homelander has is because he was unloved, never had a family, never had friends who truly cared about him. And even Homelander himself says it in the final episode. He's like, when I got my team, I thought you guys would be my family, but you were all a disappointment and you all betrayed me. So that quality alone, I can see a lot of people relating to. It's like feeling alone, like they have no friends, like they have no loved ones. But I mean, all the other stuff Homelander does, no way you can say he is relatable. But credit to where credit's due, because Anthony Starr this season just like pulled everything he had into the acting of Homelander, making him a top-tier comic book villain. Now, some really quick off-the-top things before I get to the big finale and what I think will happen next season. Some of the side plots on here, so fascinating, like the deep one where he's making love to an octopus. What the F? At least we know now what it would look like if Aquaman was sleeping with the fishes, but even they turned that into something dark when he had to eat his own friend/lover. I was 50-50 on Frenchie and Kimiko's subplot. I would have liked Frenchie to be part of the group a little more this season, but the things they did with Kimiko's character and going back and forth whether she wanted her powers or not, I thought was a really great arc, and again goes to subverting expectations, because I thought once she lost them it would be permanent, but then she gets them back and is now 100% embracing them, which is awesome. Mother Milk's arc and what's going on with his family, also really compelling stuff. I thought they handled the backstory well of why he hates Soldier Boy. It also created a great group dynamic between him and Butcher and really splitting the group apart. A-Train's also even got an interesting story with trying to become this neighborhood hero that ends up getting his brother paralyzed and then getting that revenge with that Mortal Kombat fatality, where I thought he was a goner until they give him the heart of the racist. Like, how more dark and poetic can this show get? That was kind of haunting, knowing the person who paralyzed your brother, you have his heart now. But still, the best episode this entire season in my opinion was Herogasm. This is what I meant where the show proved to us, just because of all the gore, grotesque graphic stuff in it, isn't the main draw of the show, because they were hyping this episode up before it came out like it was going to be the most sexual, violent thing you ever saw, and in terms of The Boys, it was still pretty tamed. Like, yes, it went there, but it was also kind of a fake out, because at the end of it, we got to see the showdown of Homelander, Soldier Boy, Huey, and Butcher all fighting one another, and I have to say, that was one of the most riveting, exciting moments of comic book television. Heck, maybe even comic book movies. They didn't have the budget to make it a huge action-packed explosion, but every punch, laser beam eye, and oi by Butcher, I was clapping, cheering, going, wow, this is amazing. So satisfying seeing Homelander being put in his place almost taken out completely, and Huey also getting a little bit of his revenge in with his powers. Makes me really excited for whenever we have the final battle with Homelander, because I just know when they finally decide to either kill this guy off or get rid of him, it's gonna be everybody versus Homelander. So now getting to how the show ended, in that final episode, I'm glad Maeve got her chance to fight off Homelander and get a little bit of revenge. Even if she happened to lose an eye there, I think it was all worth it just to see her make Homelander bleed. Also stuck a pin in his ear, so it looks like he's gonna lose a bit of his super hearing that became something very crucial of Homelander to be able to always stalk everybody in the building. And I know some people were upset that they kind of faked out both deaths of Soldier Boy and Maeve, but I'm actually kind of happy. In a weird way, she is dead to the show now. She doesn't have superpowers and she's gonna go live on a farm now. I doubt we'll ever see her again, and I wouldn't be too sad about it because her arc is finished in a way and she gets to go live happily forever after. But the inclusion I was not expecting is Ryan basically turning and being with his dad Homelander. That is gonna make for some exciting stuff because everybody's wondering, how are we killing Homelander? Is it gonna be with Soldier Boy or could it be with Ryan one day? Homelander seems to mess up every relationship he's ever had, whether that's him working on Vought or his teammates. He's not gonna make the best father, but then again, they might surprise us because with the way that rally went and then everyone cheering on after Homelander just killed somebody in broad daylight and the kid just smiling along with him, he's basically raising little Brightburn. To me, what I would want to happen, or what I think will happen and would be the best course of action for the show, is one, Soldier Boy is gonna get out somehow, some way. Someone's gonna rescue him. He'll fight again against Homelander, but he won't kill him. He'll just take away his powers. And I think that would be an interesting season to watch. A man who had all the power this entire show was able to control everybody with just his presence because they knew what he was capable of. You strip all of that away from Homelander and you make him a regular man. What would that look like? What would that be? Does he essentially turn into a Lex Luthor and try using whatever wits and smarts he has to beat the rest of his enemies? Or do we just see him live this cruel world without any powers? That's kind of what I want to happen, but if not, I think at the end of the day, it'll be Ryan who ends up killing his dad. As far as Butcher goes, it says he only has a couple months left to live. I don't think next season is the final season. It could very well be, but it seems now we have kind of like a Breaking Bad situation. We have an idea now how the show will end, and it'll be with Butcher's death. But I think in a weird way, this will make Butcher worse. He knows now he's dying. He's got a very finite of time left, and he desperately still wants Homelander dead before he dies. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Butcher who lets out Soldier Boy. Still, whatever it is, I'm sure the show will surprise us and get us really pumped up. I throw it off to you guys. What are your thoughts and theories for next season? Your favorite moments, your least favorite moments from this season? Funko, I need you to make a Soldier Boy pop to finish this group out. Anything and everything, be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.